If 100 humans versus one gorilla meet, let's take a look at what humans need to do to win. Throughout human history, humanity has been in conflict with nature. 100 ordinary human beings are trying to stand up to a huge muscular adult gorilla using only their physical strength and intelligence. No weapons, no tools, just pure body power strategy and solidarity. An adult mountain gorilla can weigh on average between 180 and 220 kilograms. Its musculature is incredibly dense, having evolved to survive in nature. The muscular strength of a gorilla is 4 to 10 times that of the average human. With a single punch, it can throw a human several meters forward. Its jaw strength is over 1,300 psi, close to the jaw strength of a lion. So let's look at the strength of 100 people. There may be a few athletes among them, but most are ordinary. Some are old, some are young, most are of average build. They have no weapons, no shields, no helmets. But what makes people strong is somewhere else: intelligence. Humans can cooperate, organize, strategize. When combined with the survival instinct, intelligence becomes the greatest weapon against nature. Now let's look at the rules, without which it is clear that humans would win. No human being can use a weapon. There is no other way to intervene other than hitting, kicking, pushing. Intelligence can be used. Strategy is allowed. The field is flat. There's nowhere to run. Just humans and a gorilla. Fear and chaos. When the gorilla is released into the arena, most people are frozen with fear. Human psychology is naturally prone to panic in the face of such a creature. At first, a few people run away, some freeze. The gorilla quickly attacks the nearest human being. In the first few seconds, it can incapacitate at least 5 to 10 people. But it's clear that this won't last long. As people panic, the casualties mount. But this is only the first contact. This first encounter is actually the first test of people's reflexes. If you ask what happens if they get organized, let me explain. Going to war with intelligence. This is where people's luck starts. One of them can take a leadership role. "We have to make a plan," someone shouts. People spread out in a circle, surrounding each other to use the number. One group becomes the distraction while the other goes on the attack. The idea is to get the gorilla's attention in one direction and then charge in the other. It is necessary to exert pressure not only with force, but also with weight. Organization is the first product of strategic intelligence here. Before going on the offensive, everyone must have a sense of mission. Which person will attack from which direction? Who will be the distraction? Who will stay last and provide support? As these questions are answered, one can move from chaotic order to a planned attack. Physically, if we look at real things, it's like this. The average person's punch force is around 200 to 400 newtons. If 100 people attack simultaneously, the total pressure can be close to 30,000 newtons. This is theoretical. In practice, it's difficult to do it synchronized. The gorilla's fist alone is 4,000 to 5,000 newtons. In this case, the gorilla definitely has the individual advantage in terms of strength. But with numbers and strategy, this difference can be balanced. Also critical is the direction of force application. If humans attack from different angles, the gorilla's center of balance will be off. According to Newton's second law, the net force acting on an object determines its acceleration. If 100 people manage to apply pressure simultaneously, the gorilla could lose its balance and become vulnerable. But this kind of coordination is beyond human limits, so 100 people exerting force at the same time is very unlikely. The biggest enemy of 100 people is panic. Fear spreads like a wave. When the first few panic, it creates a chain effect. But if one person bravely strikes first, others may be emboldened. The human psyche behaves more courageously in groups. This increases their chances of fighting. This is where psychological resilience comes into play, both on an individual and collective level. When survivors of the first attack feel a sense of accomplishment, their self-confidence grows. The release of dopamine and adrenaline increases in the human brain. Fear is replaced by the will to fight. In addition, the eyes of successive eyes cause individuals with leadership qualities to stand out. Tactics and scenario are also important. People put the gorilla in a circle. At the first stage, 10 people attract attention. As the gorilla turns towards them, 40 people attack from both sides. The aim is to throw the gorilla off balance. The other 50 jump on top of him and try to lock his body. In this phase, people try to knock the gorilla down not only with punches and kicks, but also with their weight. This strategy makes the most effective use of the advantage of numbers. The circle tactic limits the enemy's escape area, while attacks from different angles weaken the gorilla's reflexes. Overlapping attacks weaken the defensive reflex and close the gorilla in. If this circle is kept constantly dynamic, so that new waves keep coming in, the gorilla can quickly run out of energy. Humans can increase the pressure by narrowing the circle in a spiral rather than a fixed way. This spiraling circle pressure can eventually be strong enough to make the gorilla collapse. Another important thing when attacking in a tactical and scripted way is the resistance of the gorilla and how long it can resist. Even if the gorilla falls to the ground, it is not completely neutralized. A gorilla on the ground can still make deadly attacks. It would take at least 50 to 60 people piling their bodies on top of his to completely neutralize him. With its fighting reflexes, it can swing its arms and use its jaws. However, if pressure is applied for a long time, fatigue can set in. The most dangerous aspect of the gorilla is that it is extremely mobile and dangerous even when it falls to the ground. It can inflict serious wounds, especially using its jaws. At this stage, people need to protect their vulnerable parts, such as the face. If the weight of the people on top of it is not enough, it can suddenly rise up. Therefore, a physical lockdown tactic should be applied. Some people should lock their legs, others their arms. At the same time, these people should alternate resting and applying constant pressure. This prevents the gorilla from breathing and gathering energy. We have to add the fatigue factor after all. We are human beings and we can get tired too, and this is an adult gorilla. Gorillas are muscular but can tire quickly. Humans can last longer with less force. If 100 people attack in waves, the gorilla can run out of energy. Humans can wear it down by making short attacks and then retreating. This becomes a protracted battle. The important thing is to alternate waves of attacks. For example, a group of 20 people attack while another group rests. In this way, the attacks are continuous and people don't run out. At the same time, this cyclical attack system disrupts the gorilla's psychology. Cortisol, the stress hormone, increases in a creature that is constantly attacked. This accelerates both physical and mental exhaustion. By practicing this method, humans can maximize their endurance advantage. After 10 minutes of such pressure, the gorilla's reflexes weaken and its defense capacity decreases. Let's look at the scientific probability of winning. When we attack unorganized, the gorilla wins 95% of the time. When we attack semi-organized but in panic, 80% gorillas win. Fully organized strategic attack, 20% gorillas, 80% humans win. But a fully organized attack is very unlikely. Humans are rarely that coordinated in real life. Here are the philosophical implications. This scenario reminds us, we may be physically weak against nature, but cooperation and intelligence make us strong. 100 people fighting together can withstand even nature's mightiest warrior, but only if they act together. If we come to the conclusion, I must clearly state the following. If it is not organized, the gorilla will definitely win. But if it acts in an organized way, humans can win, but the losses will be great. If intelligence is not used, this war can never be won. This crazy scenario is not just a fantasy, but a metaphor for the struggle of man against nature.